IPv6. First, initial design of IPv4 did not anticipated the growth of internet, and this created many issues which triggered the development of an alternate version of IP protocol. The main limitations of IPv4s are like secrecy of IPv4 addresses. Nowadays, it was not anticipated when they created the IPv4. They have not anticipated like it is going to be grow like this. This internet is growing like this, and everyone is now using it, and every device needs to connect the network, and when it needs to connect the network, then it needs an IP address. So now what? Almost IPv4 addresses are finished. That is what secrecy of IPv4 addresses. That many addresses which are allocated to many companies were not used, and these created the secrecy of IPv4 addresses. In early days, they have given some ranges to some organizations, some companies. They are not utilizing all the range, but still they are using it. They are keeping it for themselves, and because of that, others are not having the IPv4 addresses. So because the secrecy of IPv6 addresses, many organizations implemented the NAT. NAT will do what? It actually saves some IP addresses. If we configure the NAT with public, it basically do translate the private IP to public IP. But with the dynamic NAT and when we use the PAT, port address translation, we can save public addresses. So we can do what? We can save public addresses, public IPv4 addresses. We can use PAT a configuration, and we can use one public IP for almost 60,000 private IPs. So this NAT to map multiple, it do what? It map multiple private addresses to a single public IPv4 addresses. It is what? PAT. And by using the NAT, we can map many internal network, internal private IP addresses to public addresses, public private addresses, public IPv4 addresses, which help in conversion IPv4 addresses. But NAT also have many limitations. We can use NAT, but NAT also has some limitations. NAT do not support network layer security standards, and it do not support the mapping of all upper layer protocols. This is the limitation. And NAT can also create network problems when two organizations which uses the same private IP addresses, IP address ranges communicate. That means when we have two organizations using the same private IP ranges and using the NAT, they are doing communication, then it will be a problem. So more servers, workstation and devices which are connected to the internet also demand the need for more addresses, and the current statistics proves that public IPv4 addresses spaces will be depleted soon, and the secrecy of IPv4 addresses is a major limitation of IPv4 addressing system. So mostly now IPv4 addresses, public addresses are almost finished, and that is why what we have now new version, that is IPv6. Then there is another problem, which is security related issues. In RFC 791, IPv4 was published in 1981, and at the current network security threats were not anticipated that time. At that time there was no, they have not think about the security threats that can come after this time. So nowadays there are lots of security threats are there. So that was not anticipated on that time, 1981. At that time nobody was think about security. So this IPv4 has developed without any security. Now Internet Protocol Security, that is IPsec, is a protocol suite which enables network security by protecting the data being sent from being viewed or modified. And Internet Protocol Security, this IPsec provides security for IPv4 packets. But Internet Protocol Security, this IPsec, is not built in and optional. And many IPsec implementations are proprietary. So because they have not made any security feature in IPv4, then we have to use this IPsec additionally to give security to the communication of IPv4. And these IPsec implementations, most of them are proprietary, not an open standard so that anyone can use it. So because of these problems, now we have IPv6. So introduction of this IPv6. So what it is replating IPv4 addresses is one of the main reason for a new IP version, and that is IPv6. So the size of an address in IPv4 addresses is 32-bit, and we can say 4 bytes. So IPv4 addresses are 32-bit addresses. This is increased much larger than the size of an addresses in IPv6, that is 128 bits, which is a 4 times longer than the 32-bit IPv4 addresses. The number of possible addresses in IPv4 is 2 raised to 32 bit. That means number of possible addresses we can have in IPv4 is 2 raised to 32, and that is what this number. It is billions of number, but still it is not enough. So now what we have is, in IPv6 we have 2 raised to 28 because it is 28 bit, and it is too much. It is too much, that means it is too big. It is like 3.4 multiple 10 raised to 38 addresses. That means after 10 you have, after this 4 you have 38 zeros. So 2.4 38 zeros, there is 38 zeros. So this is what your addresses we have in IPv6. It is so much, it is such a large amount of available IPv6 addresses that ensure that we will never again run out of IPv6 addresses. And it also allows multiple levels of hierarchy and flexibility in designing hierarchical unicast addressing and routing. So IPv4 addresses are 32-bit in binary addresses and divided into 4 octets, that is bytes, and this 32-bit large number is difficult to represent in binary format, and therefore IPv4 addresses are represented in decimal, separated by dot. And the example of IPv4 address is like this. Now because machines, our digital machine understands only binary, but binary, if you use 32 bits as a binary, so you have to type 32 bits, and it is too big. So what they have made is IPv4 into decimal that we can easy to write and easy to remember, and it is divided by dot. 4 parts of 8 bits divided into dots. Now IPv6 addresses are also much larger than IPv4 addresses, and even representing them in decimal is difficult. Now it is 128-bit address, and 128-bit address is not that easy to represent in decimal also. It can become very big. So these IPv6 addresses are now represented in hexadecimal numbers and separated by the colon. For example, it is like this. So it is in hexadecimal, and in hexadecimal we have numbers from A0 to 9, and then from 0 to 9 then you will get A, B, C, D, E, F. And in one part of this number, this IPv6, you have 4 bits. 4 bits, and combining 4 bits here in one part of IPv6 you get 16 bits, and divided by colon. So it is 128 bits are divided into 8 parts. 8 parts of 16 bits. In each part it is 16 bits we have, and in 16 bits that means 4 bits, 4 numbers of 4 bits. In hexadecimal you can represent this hexadecimal in binary. When you go, it is actually 4 bits. For example, so it is 16 bit in one part and divided by colon. Now 16 bits means it is number of 4 bits, like 4 bits, then 4 bits, then 4 bits, then 4 bits. So in every part of IPv6 we have 16 bits divided into 4 bits. Now why 4 bits? Because within the 4 bits you can have a hexadecimal number. Hexadecimal numbers, if you say bits like binary, if you represent hexadecimal numbers in binary, so it will go like this. So when you have all 4 bits are 0, then you will get what? 0. Then first bit value is 1, second bit value is 2, third bit value is 4, and the fourth bit value is 8. So when the first bit gets on and the rest of the bits are off, so you will get the number 1. Then for 2 you will get this bit on, second bit, then first and third and fourth bit will remain 0. For 3 you will get 1 and 2 on, and then third bit and fourth bit will remain 0. For 4 you will get this bit on and these 2 bits will remain 0, and this bit will remain 0. For 5 you can say like 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. That means this bit and this bit gets on. 6, for 6 first bit will off, second bit will get on, you will get 2, then third bit will get on, you will get 6. For 7 you will get 1, 2 and 4 is equal to 7. The last one will remain 0. For 8 you will get first 0, second 0, third 0, this fourth one will get on. For 9 you will get this first on and then the last one will be on, and you will get 9. Now in hexadecimal after 9 it is A, it comes A. Now number A, this letter A we can assume it is 10, because after 9 what comes? It comes 10. So this letter A we can assume it as a 10. Now for 10, which bit will get on? So this 8, number 8 the bit will get on, then 4 will remain 0, this bit will get on. So second and fourth bit will on. So 8 plus 2 is equal to 10. Then in hexadecimal after A you will see the B will come. Now B means 11, and 11, for 11 which bit will get on? So first bit will get on, second bit will get on, and then third will remain off and fourth will get on. So 8 plus 2 plus 1 you will get 11. Now after B you will see C. Now C we can assume it is 12. So for 12, first bit will 0, second bit will remain 0, third bit will get on and fourth bit will get on. 8 plus 4 is equal to 12. Then D, after C you will get D, and D we can assume it like 10, 11, 12, 13. Now for 13 you will get first bit on, second bit off, third and fourth bit will get on. Now after D you will get E, and for E we can assume it is 14. So for 14 you will get first bit off, second, third and fourth bit will get on. 8 plus 4 plus 2 is equal to 13. Finally you will get F in hexadecimal. So A to F. Now here F means what? 15. and for 15 this bit, first, second, third and fourth, all 4 bit will get on. So this whole hexadecimal numbers we can represent within these 4 bits. We don't need more bits to represent this hexadecimal number, and that is why here these 16 bits are divided into 4 bits to represent it in hexadecimal. In binary, if you say this all bits are 0, like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 0, then second 4 will remain 0, and third 4 will remain 0, fourth 4 bit will remain 0. That means this combination of 4 bits are 0, this combination of 4 bits are 0, this combination of 4 bits and 4 bits. Total is 16 bits. So if you see this like this, that means it's your first address, and it will represent what? 0. That means 0, 0, 0, 0 and colon. This is the one part of IPv6. And if all these bits get on, like on, then these 4 bits are also on, and on, and these last 4 bits are also on. So if suppose all these bits are on, all these 16 bits are on, then it will get like what? When 4 bits get on, you will get what? F. So your address part will be like F, 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 and F. It will be like this. So IPv6 can start from 0.0.000 and can go up to FFF. And till going that FFF, you have lots of numbers. Lots of numbers. I'm only talking about only one part. But in IPv6, like this 16 part of 16 bits, you have 8 parts of the 16 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total 16 parts of 16 bit, and total you have 128 bits. So like this 16 bit, you have another part of 16 bit divided by colon, and then other part, then another part, you have total 8 parts of 16 bits. And it look like this. You can see here 2001. That means this 2 means first bit is off, then second bit is on for this 2, then all 4 bits are on off here for 0, all 4 bits are off here for this 0, then for this 4 bits first bit is on, and this is the first 16 bits of first part. Then second part, so you have how many parts you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now because it is IPv, it is in 128 bits, so it is very hard to represent in decimal, and binary it is also difficult, so they have made it in hexadecimal, but it is still a very large address. If you can see, it is still very large. Still it is having 8 parts of 16 bits, and in each part you have 4, each 16 bits are divided into 4 bits. So you have 4 numbers in each parts, and you have 16 parts total. Still it is very big. So there is a way to minimize this address. Now first, what are the features of IPv6? First, large address space. It has very large address space. IPv4 has 32-bit, that is 4-byte address space, but IPv6 has 128-bit, that is 16-byte of address space. That means it is very big. If you use the calculator, then you can see the big number. It is actually 2 raised to 128. Then the very large IPv6 address space support a total of 2128. It is very large, total of 2 raised to 128, that means 3.4, and we can say 10 raised to 38 addresses. I will show you like in calculator. In calculator, if I raise, I'll go for scientific one. Okay, if I do 2 raised to 32 for IPv4, so you get this number of addresses. It is still billions of addresses, but it has finished. Now if I go for 128-bit, 2 raised to 128, then this calculator will not be able to show the whole number. And you can see it is not able to show the whole number. It is showing 3.4, and then after that you have almost 38 numbers. 10 raised to 38. So it is too big for this calculator also. So this is very large address space, and with the large number of available addresses, we can eliminate the address conversion techniques like NAT. So we can just eliminate the NAT now. We don't need NAT because we have lots of addresses. Then it is stateful and stateless IPv4 addresses configurations. In IPv6, stateful or stateless configuration is possible, and host on a link can automatically configure with IPv6 addresses called link local addresses and with addresses derived from prefix advertised by the local router. And when first connected to a network, a host sends a link local router a solicitation multicast request for its configuration parameters, and the router which is available in the link responds to the request from the host with the router advertisement packet that contains the network layer configuration parameters. So basically stateful and stateless, that means we can automatically configure or manually configure the IPv6 addresses. In IPv4 we can only use what static manual configurations. For dynamic configurations we need DHCP. Here without DHCP can also be IPv6 addresses can also be configured automatically. It is using the same technology which is used for APIPA addresses in IPv4. In IPv4 there is a addresses called APIPA which is actually made available by the Microsoft for their Microsoft devices. It is available when the network when they don't have a DHCP server and they are connected to internet. They are connected to network and they are trying to get the IP from DHCP and DHCP is not available. Then Microsoft machines do what? They get the IP automatically. They get the IP. They assign the IP from their self and they use the APIPA address. It is called APIPA, automatic private addresses. Now the same technology, same feature it uses here in IPv6, and it uses to assign these link local addresses. So it used to assign this link local addresses, and it is how it assigns the addresses. So whenever the device connects to the network, it sends a request to the connected router. Send the advertisement packet to send the router with the advertisements packet containing the network layer configuration parameters. So when the router sends the parameters, then the client use one link local address which is not available in the network, like anybody is not using that. So every device which is having IPv6 enabled, it has one link local address configured. Then multicast. The three types of communication available in IPv4 are unicast, multicast and broadcast. These are the three type of configurations. Unicast means one-to-one communication, multicast means one-to-many but not all, and broadcast is the one-to-all. So broadcast means what? One-to-all communication. Now the transmission of packet to all hosts was performed by using the special broadcast addresses in IPv4, that is 255.255.255. So it is used to send the broadcast packets. Now in IPv6, broadcast communication is not available in IPv6 and therefore does not define broadcast addresses. So there is no broadcast configuration, there is no broadcast communication in this IPv6. Why? Because broadcast do slow the network. When you have too many of broadcast, then it will slow the network. So because of that, they do what? They have eliminated the broadcast communication. And IPv6, the effect of broadcast can be achieved by sending a packet to the link local all nodes multicast group to address. Group address this. This is the address which is called link local multicast address. So instead of using the broadcast, it uses the unicast. It uses the multicast basically. So instead of broadcast, now we have multicast in IPv6. So in IPv6 we have unicast, multicast and multicast. No broadcast. Then for security, in IPv4 there is no security feature available integrated. Now here it is integrated Internet Protocol Security, that is IPsec. This Internet Protocol Security, this IPsec is a set of Internet standards that uses cryptographic security service to provide confidentiality, authentication and data integrity. It provides the encryption, authentication for doing the confidentiality and authentication and integrity of the data. Now the support for Internet Protocol Security was optional in IPv4, but in this IPv6 is integral part of this base protocol suite IPv6, and this IPsec supports is mandatory in IPv6. Now IPv6 addresses shorten expression. Now as I said, this address is still big. That means it is what? It is 128 bit. So it was not easy to express it. It was not easy to write it in binary, in decimal, not even in binary. So it is in hexadecimal, but still it is very big. Still in hexadecimal also it is very big address. So there is an option, we have to minimize or shorten the address. So the IPv6 address size is 128 bit and IPv6 addresses are represented in hexadecimal. So the 128 bit address is divided into 16 bits and each 16 bits block is converted to a 4-digit hexadecimal number and separated by colons. So this type of representation is called colon hexadecimal. The format of IPv6 addresses is like this. As I said, in every part you have 16 bits and 16 bit is divided into 4 bits of hexadecimal. Now where each X is hexadecimal digit representing 4 bits or a nibble. When you combine 4 bits, it also called nibble. This IPv6 address range from 0000. Now when all the bits are off, then you will get what? 00000. And when all the bits are on, then you will get FFFFFF. Because each 4 bits get on, then you will get hexadecimal number F. And then if every bits are on, then you will get FFFFF. Now an IPv6 address can be simplified by the following two methods. Now if you feel the address is very big, then we can simplify it by using the two methods. Now first method is to omit the leading zeros. Leading zeros, that means if you have continuous zeros, then you can remove those zeros. You don't have to write those zeros every time. So for simplifying and shortening the length of IPv6 address, we can omit the leading zero in any IPv6 address block. For example, if you see in this IPv6 address, it is 2001 colon 0 db8000 colon 000b colon 00000000018. Now the leading zeros are marked as this. Now after removing the leading zeros, the IPv6 address quoted above can be written as this. Now if you are having continuous zero, then you can remove those alternate zeros. Now remember, there is the two zeros here between this 2 and 1. We cannot remove these two zeros, because when this 1, this 2, it is like it is 2001. If you remove this 20, then it will look like 21. So you can't remove this. You can assume it like this, because 1, 0, when this all bits get on, then this becomes 0, 1. Then all these two bits get on, then this one becomes 1. And then when all these three bits gets on, then this will change to 1. And when it is changed to 2, that means it has 2 times these all bits are get on. So these zeros are having a meaning, so we cannot remove it. We can assume it like it is 2001, and if we remove this 20, it becomes 21. So we can't remove this 0, the meaning will change. But here we can remove this 0, because if I remove this 0, still it will remain the same. So it is removed here. If this 0 is in this side, then I can't remove that 0, because it will become 80. We can assume it like it is 80. If I remove the 0, it becomes 8, but it is still 8. It is what 0 is in this side. So we can remove that 0. Then for these all 4 zeros, instead of writing all 4 zeros, we can write only 1 0. Then here again you can see these bits are not required, because bit are starting from here and it is just reached to B. So it is not reached to these numbers. So we can remove those zeros and we can only write B. Then again for these all zeros, we can write only 0 colon 0 colon 0. Then again this side zeros are not important, so we can write 1A. So it becomes a little small, but still it looks big. So you can use the second method now. Second method is to double colon. Use the double colon. In IPv6 addresses can be further simplified by using double colons. Double colons are like this, and in place of a series of consecutive hexadecimal zeros. So if we have continuously zeros, then we can remove them and we can just type this double colon. So for example, in this IP address, in this we have a series of 3 consecutive fields of hexadecimal 0 as this here. So we don't have to write the whole 3 zeros. We can simply write these 2 colons here. But remember one more thing, we can't do this 2 times in single IP. We cannot use this colon 2 times. We can use only 1 time. For example, now in this example, we have here in this IP, we have 2 consecutive zeros here in this, and then we have 3 consecutive zeros here. Now that double colon option we cannot use in for both. We can only use once. Either I use for this 2 consecutive 0, or I can use for this 3 consecutive zeros. I cannot use it for both. Now if I use it for both, then it will become difficult to read, or it will become difficult to understand. For example, if suppose I use this 2001, then colon 0 colon 0 colon 1 C colon colon. Now here if I use 2 colons for these 3 consecutive 0, and then I will give A 1. Now I use double colon for this, not for this. Now when we give this IP to any machine, so machine will see. Now remember, machine knows that there is 8 parts of these 16 bits of hexadecimal divided by colon. So machine will see how many parts I can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 5 parts are showing, and what is the remaining part? So remaining part is 6 and 7, 6, 7 and 8. So 3 parts are remaining. So machine can easily understand that this 2 colon means there are 3 consecutive zeros. But if we use for both at the same time, this one and this one, then it is not easily understand. It will be like this. Suppose I will use 0 and I will use this 2 colons here for these 2 consecutive zeros, then 1 C, then again I will use 2 consecutive zeros, and then I will say A1. Now if I do like this, if I use this 2 times, then what happened? When you give this IP to any machine, then machine will say what? It can see 1 part, 2 part and 3 parts. Now how many parts are remaining? So 5 parts are remaining. So where is this 5 parts? 5 parts, it is showing 2 colons here. So now the machine will get confused that within that 5 parts, where is the 3 and where is the 2? Maybe this one has only 1 consecutive 0 and then it has 4 consecutive 0, or maybe this one is having 3 consecutive zeros and this one is having 2 consecutive zeros. How they can differentiate? Maybe this one is having 2 consecutive 0 and this one 3 consecutive 0. This one is right, but how they will feel? They know that where is 2 consecutive 0, where is 3 consecutive 0. So that is why you can use this double colon only once in your IP. So wherever you use, only use once, never use 2. So we can use that only one time. Now, what are the types of addresses we have? So the type of addresses we have is link local IPv6 addresses. Then we have global unicast IPv6 addresses, multicast addresses, anycast and loopback. In IPv4 we have different classes of addresses, but in IPv6 we don't have classes. We actually have types of addresses, and all the addresses are not available now. IANA has these international internet assigned numbers authorities. They have not released the all numbers for use. They have released a specific ranges for us, and they have kept those other ranges for future use. So right now we don't have available all the ranges. All the IPv4 addresses are now, it is not available now. They have kept it for future use. So in here we don't have classes of addresses, we have types of addresses. Link local, global unicast, multicast and anycast, and also loopback we have. Now first is the link local addresses. This link local addresses is starting with FE in hexadecimal represent link local IPv6 addresses. So whenever you see any IPv6 address which starts from FE, that means it is the link local address. This link local addresses cannot be routed to the public network and limited to the local network. It is like a private IP. Now private IPs, you remember, it cannot route, it cannot go to internet. It only remains in local network. Now this link local addresses are auto-configured. Auto-configured or auto-generated plug and play addresses. Stateless addresses similar to IPv4 APIPA addresses, which has a range from of 169.254.0.0/16. It is a class B address range of 169.2.254 that was available for APIPA, but that works only on Microsoft devices. It won't work on any other devices. But the same type of technology, same type of feature is now available in IPv6, and that is what link local address. So typically getting an IPIPA IPv4 addresses in IPv4 network is because of some network error. But a link local addresses are IPv6 addresses which can be used for local communication. And a link local addresses is for use on a single link and should never be routed. And IPv6 link local addresses are identified among IPv6 addresses by reserving the leftmost 64-bit as 11111101. This is what the leftmost 64 bits. Now why it is saying 64 bit? So whenever we talk about IPv6 addresses, then you have to divide them into two parts of 64 bits. For example, if this is our address of 128 bit, so all the IPv6 addresses are basically divided into two parts of 64 bits. 64 bits means this 16 bit is 32, then again 16 and 16 bit is what? 64 bits. So it is basically divided into two parts of 64 bits. Now this first 64 bits always remain for network. Now remember, in IPv6 there was network part and host part. Network part is to define the network, and host parts are for host. The host part is used to assign numbers to the host machines. Now this every IPv6 addresses, all the types of IPv6 addresses are divided into these two parts. So the first 64 bits are remain for the network, and all the other 64 bits are remain for host. So it is what? Host identifier. That means when you have network, like for example in IPv4 we have class B addresses. So suppose first part will be like 128.1.0.0. So this first two parts remains network in class B. So it will remain same, and these two parts will change. So I will give 1 to 1 machine, 2 to 2 second machine, third machine I will give 3, but they all can do the communication until this first part remains same. Same funda is here, like until this first 64 bits remain same, in 2 or more machines they will get communication. They will do the communication, they will remain in the same network. So this first 64 bit consider as a network part, and rest of the 64 bit consider as a host part in IPv6. So for link local addresses, the first 64 bits remains like that. It always remains like that. So first 64 bits always remains like this, but in this only first 10 bits are important. Rest of the bits always remain 0, and these are those bits. First 4 bits are on, and you get what? F. then second 4 bits, in second 4 bits this 3 bits are on and first bit remains 0, and you get what? E here. And then from the rest of the bits, then third set of 4 bits, you will get this fourth bit is on, and that is why you get here 8. Now after this, all the zeros, all the bits will always remain 0. So whenever you see this FE80 in hexadecimal, that means it is a link local address. And link local addresses are used by devices for communicating with other nodes in the same link. Basically, in IPv4 network, all the communication within the LAN is happened with this link local address, and each and every device which has the IPv6 enabled, it gets this link local address. So the scope of this scope of an IPv6 link local addresses is local link, and the IPv6 link local addresses are made for the first 64-bit reserve, and it will be like this FE80, and it is giving colon here. If you see here, it is mentioning double colon here for all the zeros, and the subnet mask. Now here for subnet mask, what they use /64. /64, that means in IPv6 always it will show /64. /64, that means the first 64 bit is as a network. That means this first 64 bits are network. So always all IPv6 addresses will have the MAC address like this. So there is no subnet mask. It always be like this /64. That means it says that first 64 bit is a network part. And remaining bits are taken from the MAC address of the interface. Now in the host part of link local addresses, first 64 bit always remain like this. That means it will always remain like this FE80, and then double colon, that means 0000, all rest of the bits. Now the host part of link local addresses are taken from the MAC addresses of the interface. That means on which device it is configured, it will take the MAC address of that device. But MAC addresses are 48-bit. Now always remember, MAC address always be the 48-bit address. But for 64-bit host part, we need what? 64 bits. So we have 48 bits, but we need what? 64-bit address. So 64 plus 48 is only 112. That means 64 of network. And for the host part, if you use MAC address as 48, then you will reach up to only 112 bits. But our address is what? 128 bit. So what about the rest of the 16 bits? Because we remain with 16 bits. So the answer is an hexadecimal number. This is the constant number. So in each link local address, this is the constant number fixed by the INAM. So this number will always be added into the host part of link local address. So the host part of link local address of 64-bit is a combination of 48-bit of MAC address and the 16-bit of this constant value. Now this will be added in between the MAC address. It will not added in the right side, left side. It will be added into the middle of the MAC address and the related interface to form the complete 128-bit link local address. Now also it do what? It also 7th bit from the left in the MAC address is flipped. Now whatever your MAC address is, the 7th bit of the MAC address from the left side will be flipped. Now flipped means what? If the bit is 0, then it will become 1, and if the bit is 1, then it will become 0. And what that means is about this, like first 64 bit remain like this, and the rest of the 64 bit is the combination of MAC address of 48 bit and the constant value of this 16 bits, and also it do flip the 7th bit. Now that will not happen in Windows machines. Now Windows uses different formula to generate the host part of link local address. It uses the MAC address, but it uses a different formula. But rest of the devices, all other devices, whether it is from any company, it will use the same method. It uses the MAC address with added 16-bit and flipped the 7-bit. I will show you the example in Packet Tracer. Okay, now in Packet Tracer we have these machines here, and these are not Windows machines. These are not Windows machines. So they will use the same formula, same method for generating the rest of the 64-bit. Now if you check this, it has already this link local address. So when you have IPv6 enabled, it will get this link local address already set. Now if we check the detail here, so if I give ipconfig all command, it shows here that this is the physical address of this machine, and this is what the MAC address of this machine. Now what is this link local address? If you check the link local address, it is already assigned to this. So this FE80 colon colon. Now that means what? This is the first 64-bit, and first 64-bit is what? FE80 colon colon, and it will always be this. It is the fixed one, and that means what? It is the link local address. Now the rest of the 64-bit is the combination of MAC address and the 16-bit of that constant value. So if you see here, this is the MAC address and this is the IPv6 link local address. Now if you compare, so you can see easily that this 16-bit is here, then this 8-bit is here. Now from here in the middle, it has added that fixed value of 16-bit exactly at the middle, FFFE. Then the other part of the MAC address is here. This 58 is here, and then this D0 is here. Now instead of this 00, it is showing 2 here. Now why it is showing 2? Because it has flipped the 7th bit. And what that means? If all these bits are 0, that means what? 0 0 0 0 for first 4 bits, then second 4 bits are 0 0 0 0. It is like this. So when we talk about these zeros, that means all these bits are 0. Or let's say when we convert this whole number into binary, so it will be like 0, it is D, A, B, C, D. So D means what? 13, and 13 for 13, so which bit will get on? So first bit, 8-bit number 8 will get on, then this number 4 number bits will get on, and then this bit will get on. So this means D. Then last one is also 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this MAC address here means this in binary. Now what it do here? It flips the 7th bit. Now 7th bit means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not from here, it is from left side. So 1 from left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is what the 7th bit. Now if this bit is 0, so it will get 1, and if the bit is 1, then it will get 0. So this means what? This means the number was 0, 0, D, 0. But when you flip this bit, this seventh bit, so it will become 0 0 0 0, then 0, and this bit is 0, so it will become 1 0 0, and then 1 1 0 1, then 0 0 0 0. Now that means what? First one is 0, but second one is not 0 now. It has not this one, it is actually this one. This is the seventh bit. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this is what the seventh bit. So it gets on. It is off. It was off. Now it is flipped to on. So now this one is not 0. It is what? Having value 2. And then D0. So this one becomes what? This, after flipping the seventh bit. So you can see here, this become this, and it is omitting this leading 0, and it is directly writing 2D0. So if your MAC address is this, so your link local address is this, combination of 48 bit your MAC address and this constant value, and the seventh bit will be flipped 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. So this is what link local address. Then we have global unicast address. This global unicast address is, we can assume it like a public address in IPv4. This IPv6 unicast address is used to identify a single interface in a node. So unicast means to identify the single node, and an IPv6 unicast addresses identifies only one node in a network, and unicast addresses used for one-to-one communication. So IPv4 aggregates the global unicast addresses are similar to what IPv4 public addresses, and aggregate global unicast addresses are globally routable addresses on IPv4 internet. So these are the addresses which we can use to connect the internet and WAN connection, which is defined in RFC 3587 and usable range of IPv6 global unicast addresses. And in this status that out, and this RFC states that out of the 128 bits in IPv6 addresses, leftmost 3 bits are must be fixed as 001, and remaining 48 bits are reserved for global routing prefix. 16 bits after that can be used for subnetting, and the 64 remaining bits are the host bits. The first fixed 3 bits are 001, and the 48 bits global routing prefix, that means 45 plus 3 is equal to 48 bits together, can be assigned to an organization as their IPv6 prefix. And since the leftmost 3 bits are reserved as 001, the global unicast IPv6 addresses, the range of global unicast addresses available now are from 2000 to 3FFF. Remember, all the ranges are not available for now. They are leave these ranges, other ranges, for the future use. So whatever the available ranges are, we have for global unicast. Global unicast is reserved first 3 bits. Remember, the first 3 bits reserved. Among these 64 bits of network part, first 3 bits are reserved. You cannot change those bits, and they will be like 001, and then rest of the 45 bits is the 45 bits are reserved for global routing prefix. Global routing prefix, that means this is the unique address for the organization. So when suppose someone wants the IPv6 addresses, remember it is internet routable. On internet it is routable. So if suppose some company asks for the IP address of IPv6, so they will be given that 45 bits. Those 45 bits that is not given to anyone in the world. So the combination of that 45 bits, which is the global routing prefix for that organization, and the reserve bit of that 3, total bits is 48 bits. So this total 48 bit is what internet routing prefix. That means for any organization, if they wants to get IPv6 routable addresses, public addresses we can say, so they will get this first 48 bits assigned from INA, that which they have not given to anyone in the world. Now the rest of the 16 bit of network part, remember the network part is total 64 bits. So after 48 bits we remain with 16 bits. So that 16 bit is reserved for the organization. Now organization can do subnetting in it. Subnetting in it, that means if the organization has multiple departments and they want to divide those departments, they want to assign IPv6 addresses which they have got from the INA, and they want to use it to their organization, and they want to divide it into different departments. So they can use this 16 bits to divide that IP addresses to, and they can do what? Subnetting. It is like we can say it is subnetting, and that is why it is used for subnetting inside the organization. So inside the organization they will use this 16 bit to differentiate between those departments. So within the organization, with the help of this 16 bits, and 16 bit is very much, you can see 2 raised to 16 means what? It is almost 65,000. It is actually 65,536. That means in a single organization you can create 65,536 departments, subnets, with the help of this 16 bits. It's very large. And in 45 bits, that means in a world INA can give 2 raised to 45 different 2 raised to 45 different organizations this public addresses, and it is also very big. That means in each organization will get a unique address, is still you will remain lots of addresses, because 2 raised to 45 is too much. And then within each subnet, that means in every organization they have 16 bit for subnetting, so they can create 2 raised to 16 subnets, and in each subnet they can have 2 raised to 64 bit hosts. That means they have 64 bits remaining to assign every host a unique IP address. Unique IP address, that means in globally it is unique by this 45 bits, or we can say 48 bits. Then within the organization, in a subnet, it is divided, it is unique by using this 16 bit, and within a subnet we can have different IP addresses to every host by using this 64 bits. So it is very large space of addresses. And this is what global unicast, which is as IPv4 public addresses, which is routable. Then we have multicast addresses. Now remember, broadcast is not available. So whatever the broadcast was doing, now it is done by the multicast. So IPv6 multicast communication is similar to IPv4 multicast communication. So it is similar, but IPv6 devices can join and listen for multicast traffic on an IPv6 multicast addresses. IPv6 multicast addresses identifies multiple interfaces, and in IPv6 multicast type of communication, IPv6 datagram packet addressed to an IPv6 multicast addresses are delivered to all interfaces that are identified by the address. So within the same address, it is same like IPv4. Within the same multicast addresses, they can do the communication like a broadcast. So IPv6 devices can join or leave multicast group at any time, and IPv6 nodes can join and listen to IPv6 multicast addresses at the same time. For IPv6 multicast addresses, the first 8 bits are reserved as 11111. So first 8 bits are on. That means whenever you see this FF00 colon, that means it is the multicast addresses. You can see /8, that means it is only first 8 bits are reserved. Remember, these 2 zeros, these other 8 bits can be any. That means you just have to verify that first it is having FF. Here you can have any number. But in unicast, in same as in unicast, first 3 bits are only reserved, rest of the bits can change. Here you can see only first 3 bits are reserved, rest of the bits can change. That means in first 4 bits, first 3 bits are reserved. That means this is the first 4 bit part. So in this I will divide these into 4 parts. So only first 3 bits are reserved. That means this bit is not reserved. So it can go from 0 to 1. That means this bit can go off to on. And that means here in this part, in this here in this first 4 bit part, you can have 2 or 3. Why 2 or 3? Because when this is reserved, then you always get 2. But when this bit get on, you will get number 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. So this global unicast address can start from 2 and you can also see 3. So 2 or 3, if it is starting from 2 or 3, that means it is global unicast. And same as here in multicast addresses, first 8 is only what? Reserved. That means you can have any number here, but if it is 2 or 3 at the beginning, that means it is unicast, global unicast. Same as here, if you see FF and any number here in this 20, it can be multicast addresses. Now similar to IPv6 link local addresses, it is easy to identify in IPv6 multicast addresses because IPv6 multicast addresses have leftmost hexadecimal digit as FF, and after the leftmost 8 bits, which are reserved as 11111, the next 4 bits are known as flags. Only 3 of the 4 flags bits in the flags field are defined currently. The most significant bits in the 4-bit flags field is reserved for the future use. So after this 8 reserved bits, in this 4 bits, they are reserved for flags, and among those 4 bits, only 3 bits are defined. For the 4th bit is now is reserved for future, and those 3 bits are defining this R, this Rendezvous, P is prefix, and T is transit. So it is like this. So first 8 bits it is like this. First 8 bit is reserved, then next 4 bits are for the flag, and the second and then third 4 bits are 4 bits for the scope. So total is what? 8 and 4 16. Then the remaining bits are what? 112 bits. The remaining 112 bits called is group ID. It is called group ID, and based on the group ID, those hosts can join the multicast communication and leave the multicast communication. So based on these group IDs, they can use this multicast communication, and it's too much. So you can have 2 raised to 112 multicast hosts connected together to do the multicast. Now those 4 flag bits are this first one is most significant bit and currently not in use. So this one is not in use. The next one is used, and it is called Rendezvous. Now when R flag set to 0, the multicast Rendezvous point is not embedded with multicast addresses, and when it is set to 1, the multicast Rendezvous point is embedded with the multicast addresses. Then 2 means prefix. So when P flag set to 0, the multicast addresses is not based on a network prefix. So if the P flag is 0, that means if that third bit is on off, then it will consider as it will not do the multicast based on network prefix. So it is like broadcast, and when P flag is set to 1, the multicast address based on network prefix. So based on the network prefix, it will do the multicast. Then the last one, last fourth bit, least significant bit, it is called T. T means transit. When T flag set to 0, the multicast address is a permanently assigned well-known multicast address, that is fixed multicast address. And if this T flag is set to 1, the multicast address is a transit, that means dynamically assigned and multicast addresses. That means it is dynamically assigned addresses. So it can change and change. Then we have scope field. Rest of the from the 16 bits, the last 4 bits are for scope field. It defines the scopes. So 0 reserved, currently in future use. 1 means interface link scope. That means the interface links local scope. It is local scope that is limited for the local single interface only, useful only for loopback delivery of multicast within a node. That means if you see this 1, that means it is what? When you see 1 there, that means it is what? Reserved for only local address, local scope. That means it is only for local delivery, local loopback. It is like local host, loopback address. The multicast will work like a loopback address. Then if you see 2 there in that in the fourth 16-bit in that scope field, if you see 2 there, that means it is link local scope, and this link local scope is defined for the local link, and the traffic with the multicast address of this, that means you have see here 4 after this FF0. So it is limited to local link scope, and IPv6 router will never forward the multicast traffic destined to this beyond the local link. So it will work like a private range. It will work like a private range. It will broadcast only within the LAN network. It will not do multicast to outside the LAN. That means router will not forward the packet to any other LANs. Then if you set 3, if you see 3 there, this is called subnet local. So subnet local scope ranges subnet on multiple links. That means it can send the multicast within the from the router to different network different subnet also, but it will go for the local subnets only. Admin local scope. This administratively configured scope definition states that the smallest scope that must be administratively configured. So we configure the scope for doing the multicast by using this 4. Then 5 is site local. The scope of site local multicast addresses are within the local physical network. For example, a small branch office site local multicast packets will not cross the IPv4 border router to at the site. So within the site, it can travel across the routers within the site, but never cross the border router. Border router, that means suppose it is a IPv4, it is a EIGRP site, so it will not cross the border router. OSPF single area, it will not cross that area. 8, if you see 8, that is organization's local scope. The scope of organization local addresses are within different sites inside an organization. An organization local multicast packets will not cross the organization's IPv4 border router to reach the IPv6 internet. So within the organization, it can travel to different routers to router, but different sites to sites, but not go to outside the organization, outside the autonomous number. This 5 will not go outside of the site, but this will go outside the site, but not the outside the organization. E is global scope. Scope is the global IPv6 internet. It is like a broadcast to everyone. F is reserved and it is not used. So that means these are those addresses. Now link local scope, IPv6 multicast addresses. Now this is what link local. You can see here 2, FF2, and 2 means what? Link local. If you see here, it is link local scope, which defines the traffic within the local link. Now within the local link, if you see this address, that means what? all nodes of IPv6 multicast addresses and all IPv6 addresses in the same link will listen to this IPv6 multicast address. So if any multicast communication happens on this address, so it will be listened by the all nodes in the same link which is sending the data. This one is for all routers of IPv6 multicast addresses, and all IPv6 routers on the same link will listen on this multicast addresses. That means it can cross the router also. Then this 4 means what? The all distance vector multicast protocol routers addresses used to reach all DVMPR MRP multicast routers on the same link. Then 5 means OSPF IPv6 multicast address, and this remembers the IPv4 OSPF multicast address of 224.0.0.5. So this is what used in OSPF for IPv6 to communicate with the same OSPF routers. This is for all distance vector routers, and this is for all OSPF routers. Then 6 is for OSPF version 3. It is same as this. It is for OSPF version 3 designated routers and non-designated routers IPv6 multicast address. Remember, in IPv4 OSPF designated router DR and non-DR multicast address was 224.0.0.6. Only DR and BDR listen to this multicast addresses. So it was used in IPv4 for OSPF 2 addresses for DR and non-DR routers. So here same, here we have 2, 5 and 6 for DR and non-DR of OSPF routers. And this one is for RIP. In RIP NG, next generation for IPv6 multicast addresses. And this is what same as for RIP version 2 multicast address 224.0.0.9. So all the routers which is configured with RIP NG of IPv6, they will listen on this address. For EIGRP it is A. This is for EIGRP of IPv6. It is same as in IPv4 we have 224.0.0.10. It is the hexadecimal equivalent of a decimal 10. That is A. So all the routers of EIGRP configured with EIGRP of IPv6 will listen on this multicast address. This D is for all PIM routers. 16 is for all MLD version 2 capable routers. 1:2 is for DHCP version 6 servers and DHCP 6 version 6 relay agent. That is for DHCP configured in IPv6. And this address AFF0000 is solicited node IPv6 multicast address. Now after the multicast we have anycast. Anycast, we can say like broadcast. Instead of broadcast we have anycast in IPv6, but anycast is also type of multicast. Anycast IPv6 addresses are used for anycast type of IPv6 network communication. Anycast type of IPv6 addresses can be used only as destination addresses. Destination addresses, that means we configured it like a anycast address. So we can configure these addresses. Anycast type of IPv6 addresses are typically assigned only to IPv6 routers. So we configure the router to have a anycast address, and this anycast address are from IPv6 unicast address range. That means it is not a different address. It can be this link local, not can be a link local, but it can be a global unicast address. So any of the global unicast address we can use it as a anycast address, and we can configure it on router as a anycast address. So from a client perspective it is not possible to determine the IPv6 address is an anycast address. So for client it will see like it is a simple address, it is simple unicast address, it is not a anycast address, it looks like a simple unicast address. For the router, the network device which are dealing with anycast type of IPv6 addresses are routers, and only IPv6 routers are aware about the anycast IPv6 addresses, because we configure it like a anycast address. Then loop back. In IPv4 we have loopback addresses. Loopback addresses was 127.0.0.0. It was actually the whole range of IPv4 class A address, which has 16 million, more than 16 million IPs, and it is wasted. You can't use any of those IPs. It is wasted. All IPs are used as a loopback. It is not leave purposely, but it is reserved because it do looping. So it was leave as a loopback because it creates loop under the protocol. That means if any data sent on this IP addresses will not go outside, it loop into the TCP IP protocol state. So it was lived as a loopback. Now at that time it has lived is as a problem, but these network administrators and network programmers, they used it IPv6 loopback address as a opportunity. They make lots of different use of it. Nowadays we have lots of use for this loopback address, lots of use. We can do testing, we can do create a program without a network, we can do test the networking things, networking features. So there is lots of different use we have for this loopback addresses. So now in IPv6 address also we have reserved loopback address, and that is actually the first address of IPv6. If you can see here 000000000, all 0, and the first bit is on, and that is what 1, and it is what /128. The whole bit is like network, we can say. /28 128 is saying that the exact all bits need to be exact same, and that is what all zeros and 1. We can easily write it like ::1. We can eliminate all the zeros and we can write : and the end of that we can write 1/128. And unspecified address in IPv6 is with a binary 0. In IPv4 we have an address which is unspecified like 0.0.0, the first address. It is also having a lots of use. We cannot use them on any interface of any device, but that is also having a unique use. So in IPv6 also we have it, and that is what all zeros /0. We can easily write it like : just : /0. So these are some special addresses we have. As we have seen till now, this all zeros are what simplified as : that is what unspecified address of IPv6. We'll use this IPv6 address during the process of stateful IPv6 addresses configuration using the DHCP. Then all 01 is the loopback address of IPv6. Then if you see 200 or 3FF, from 200 to 3FF is what global unicast address. This FE80 and /10, that means the first 10 bits are reserved, rest of the bits always remain 0. It is what linked local address. FC00 or FF00, FC00 and FD00, this one is actually called unique local address. This one is what it is like a private address of IPv4, but because we are having lots of addresses in IPv6, we don't need private addresses. We don't need private addresses. So this one is in we can say it is in not properly defined. So maybe in future we will not see this unique local addresses because we don't need it now. Because we have lots of public addresses, we can use directly public addresses on devices. We don't need private addresses, but still they have leave this range for the private addresses. It is called unique local. This one is for the multicast addresses FF00, and then IPv6 addresses with the prefix of 2001 or D8B/32 and 3FFFFF/32. This is reserved for documentation, so we can't use this. These are reserved. It is defined in RFC 3849. You can see the more detail. So this one, these addresses from here to here is also reserved. We are not able to use it. Now what is the difference between these two, IPv4 and IPv6? So IPv4 is 32-bit, IPv6 is 128-bit, and IPv4 addresses are binary and represent as a decimal. IPv6 is binary but represent in hexadecimal. IP6 support is only optional. It is inbuilt in IPv6. Here address resolution protocol is available for MAC addresses, but here we don't need ARP because ARP works on broadcast and IPv6 don't have broadcast. And if you remember, for all the link local addresses, they have created by the MAC address of the device. So we don't need ARP. So it is replaced with the function of neighbor discovery protocol. So it is neighbor discovery protocol used to find the link local address of the neighbor. Then Internet Group Management Protocol, IGMP, is used to manage the multicast group membership. Here, instead of IGMP, it use multicast listener discovery. It is MLD messages. Then broadcast messages are available, but instead of broadcast we have here multicast. Then manual configuration of IPv4 is static, or even we can use dynamic configuration by DHCP, and for that we require DHCP. But here auto configurations of addresses is available. That means we don't need DHCP to configure addresses automatically. In every machine where there is a IPv6, it will be assigned by it will get automatic address, and it is called link local address. So configuring Cisco routers with IPv6. So the following Cisco IOS configuration command can be used to configure the static global unicast addresses in the router. Very simple. Same as IPv4, we can configure IPv6. We go to the interface by using the interface command, and then we'll use, instead of IP, we will use IPv6 addresses, the IPv6 command, and then we can use whatever IP we want to configure. Then no shutdown to enable the interface, and then we can check that by using show IPv6 interface brief. Instead of IP, we use IPv6. Let's show this. Let's see how we can configure it. So if I want to assign IP address, so this is what IP address I'm going to assign on these interfaces. What I'm doing here, I'm using this global unicast address, and if you see here, it is 1001:1. So this network, this first 64-bit, remember it is network. So this one will consider as a network, and this one is considered as a host IP. So this machine will get 2, 3, 4. It is like this. Now on this serial interface, I am going to use what, 1000:2. So this 2 is what, network. It is considering as a network. So this is 1, this is 2. So this one is different network. And 2::1. That means after 2, all the remaining bits are 0, and the end it is 1. Now this IP is the same network IP like this one. So 1001:2. This one is also 2. And this one is 2 here, this one is 1 here. So it is like 1002.1, 1002.3. Then here I am using 2000, it is not 1000, 2003.1. So 3.2, 3.4. And here I'm using 2004.1, 4. Okay, here I will use 4.2. And this one 5. So these are different networks. These are different networks because this one is 1, this one is 2, this one is 3, this one is 4, this one is 5. I'm using the simple range. You can use a complex also. Now how you will assign? So I'll go to this router 1. I remove the previous configurations, whatever. host name router 1. Now first interface fast Ethernet 0/0. On fast Ethernet 0/0, I have decided to configure this IP. So IPv6. Here you will give IPv6 and IPv6 address. Now what address I have decided? So I have decided this address. So I'm going to use that address here, and that is 1001:1:1/64, and then no shutdown. And this is what. Now on this interface I use this IP I want. It is serial 000. So I will use this on that interface. I'll go to that interface serial 0/0/0, and I will use IPv6 and address 2001:2:1/64 and no shutdown, and maybe it is having a clock. This is for this router, same as I will configure these routers also. To check IP configuration, what I have done, we can give what? Normally we give show IP interface brief. To check IPv6, IPv4 information, it is not showing any here because we have used IPv6. So we will give show IPv6 interface brief, and here you will see that on this interface we have configured this IP address, but still it is having one link local address. If you see, it is still having a link local address. And on this serial interface we have configured this address, but still it is using this link local address. This one is down, but it will get up when the other side port I will configure, then it will get up also. So this is a simple way we can configure the IPv6 address on our router interfaces. So we have seen what is IPv6 and what are the different types of IPv6 and how we can normally configure in our router interfaces.